very good evening and a warm welcome to PNB News, coming to you live from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. I am Omohefe Peace Osemere. First, the headlines. Labour rejects federal government's minimum wage offer. Rivers State political crisis takes a new turn. And on the foreign scene, Slovakian Prime Minister Roberto Fico shot and wounded. Algerian Football Federation FAF contemplates dumping Confederation of African Football. Details in a moment. Welcome back. Negotiations between organized labor and the federal government have reached a stalemate as labor stormed out of the minimum wage committee meeting over the latter's offer of 48,000 naira new minimum wage. PNB News gathered that the government offer was presented to the organized labor by the permanent secretary to the government of the Federation office. It will be recorded that the organized labor had made a demand of 615,000 naira as the new minimum wage and had given the government up till May 31st to conclude negotiations on new living wage. It was reliably gathered that representatives of the organized labor, comprising the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, at the Tripartite Committee on New National Minimum Wage, which resumed negotiations today, got enraged over the government's offer. Professor Theophilus Ndubuaku, one of the representatives of the NLC, said, and I quote, "We asked whether the 45,000 naira is for transport, food, clothing, house, or for what. So we just told them that since they are not serious, we better just leave. So we stormed out of the place." End of quote. Nigeria's headline inflation rate increased from 33.20% recorded in March to 33.69% in April 2024. This was disclosed today by the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS. The data represents a month-over-month increase of 0.49 percentage point in the headline inflation rate, according to the Consumer Price Index report, the NBS stated. Comparing year-on-year data, the inflation rate in April 2024 was 11.47 percentage points higher than in April last year, where it stood at 22.22%. Well, this indicates that the headline inflation rate has risen significantly over the past year. Let's join our in-house economist, Yusha Aliyu, on the impact of the current inflation on the economy as well as Nigerians. He joins us live via telephone this evening. Hello, good evening to you, Yusha Aliyu. Thank you so much for joining us on PNB News Live.
Thank you very much, and good evening.
Right, we have a new development, to deal with, and perhaps we've got something to chew on. By that, I'm referring to, yourself and also economist or economic analyst out there. As it stands, the inflation rate just saw a surge. For some people, it is insignificant. But what are your thoughts on this?
My thought on this is that we have already analyzed that there is going to be increase in the figure of inflation as a result of multiple policy adjustment that triggered inflation rate in the economy. We have said it times to that number that inflation figures are not going to be down because the Central Bank of Nigeria always increase MPR, and by increasing MPR, cost of borrowing is increasing. Not only cost of borrowing is increasing because of the profit motive of entrepreneurs, that whatever they are investing it seeking for profit. So at that same vein, the same producers or manufacturers will have to go down to the price level and increase the prices so as to get what they can pay for the ongoing loan liabilities. That is one angle. Second, we have said that economy, the consumer confidence will continue to decline because as inflation is eroding people's income, definitely their purchasing power is being eroded. Definitely the GDP growth rate is going to be slow, and that is a situation on ground.
Well, right now we understand that the organized, labor, they actually stormed out of, the meeting they held with the federal government earlier today with regards to, negotiation on, a decent living or minimum wage, if you like. The federal government has proposed 46 or 48,000 naira thereabout, and labor has insisted on the over 600,000 naira as minimum wage for the Nigerian worker. Now, with all of this put together, what does all of this actually portend for, Nigerians in the days to come?
What is likely to transpire from this quagmire is union arrest, and it is going to be devastating to an economy that is suffering high unemployment, that is suffering high inflation rate, that is also suffering a lot of supply bottlenecks. It is not encouraging at all to have a situation reaching this level, and at the same time the government and labor are still at par to reaching to an desirable position that can sustain the economy and give the economy the light that is looking for.
Well, usually let's leave it here for now and keep our fingers crossed to wait for more events or reactions, to emanate from this development. But thank you so much for talking to us on PNB News Live.
Thank you very much, Omar. Thank you.
Right. Usually they are in-house economists. Now, moving on to other matters, there seems to be no end in sight in the war between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and of course, his predecessor, Nyesom Wike, who's now Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. We understand that 5 commissioners serving in the cabinet of Fubara have resigned from the Rivers State Executive Council. The commissioners are Professor Chinedu Mom, Dr. Gift Wolu, Austin Ben Chioma, Inime Agume, and Jacobson Mbina, who are all loyal to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. They were among the 9 commissioners who had previously resigned in the heat of the political crisis in the state before the intervention of President Bola Tinubu. Their resignations came 24 hours after Fubara slammed his predecessor and estranged his political godfather, accusing him of leaving a huge debt burden for him. The 5 commissioners tendered their resignations in separate letters addressed to the governor through the secretary to the state government, Dr. Tammy Danagogo. Now let's move on to security matters. At about 5:20 a.m. today, there was an explosion at a mosque in Gaidan village, Gezawa local government area of Kano State during a Subhi prayer, with 24 people sustaining various skin burns and other bodily injuries. In a press statement by the Kano State Police Public Relations Officer, SP Abdullahi Haruna Kiyawa, the principal suspect behind the explosion, identified as Shafiu Abubakar, aged 38 years, has been arrested. The suspect said his action was purely in hostility following prolonged family disagreement over sharing of inheritance, of which those that he alleged to have cheated on him were in the mosque at that moment, and it did that for his voice to be heard. The scene was cordoned off, and the 24 victims, including 20 male adults and 4 male children, were removed and rushed to Murtala Muhammad Specialist Hospital, Kano, where they are currently receiving treatment. While the suspect is currently in police custody, the statement added that forensic analysis had revealed a suspected petrol explosion, of which a full investigation is ongoing. Still on crime and criminality, the Borno State Police Command has arrested 44 suspects for committing various offenses in the state. Parading the suspect at the Maiduguri Police Headquarters, the Police Public Relations Officer, ASP Nahum Kenneth Daso, said it was the launch of Operation Cam DB Frata, Operation Flush Out Criminals. The command has recorded significant achievements in the last 1 month, tackling various crimes and ensuring public safety across the state. Atiku Galadima completes the story.
The 44 suspects, according to ASP Daso, were arrested in various locations within the state for offenses ranging from pawn snatching, attempted tricycle theft, store breaking, among other offenses. The PPRO disclosed that with launch of Operation Kamdibe Frata, the command has recorded significant achievement in the last month.
The operation is known as Operation Kamdibe fruit out. It is a Kanuri word which means flush out criminals. The operation has yielded positive results leading to the arrest of suspects, recovery of exhibits, and the increase in use through surveillance, stop and search, and the constant rate of criminal hideouts.
Daso explained that a total number of 22 suspects were arrested in possessions of various illicit drugs and substances,
which includes 500 pieces of D5 tablets, 1 shisha pot, 164 wraps of dry leaf suspected to be Indian hemp, 1 bottle containing substances suspected to be salt and black, 5 cards and 7 pieces of Chamadon capsules, 1 pental injection, 2 knives.
He also added that the command has addressed the rise in handset snatching and youth involvement in social vices. He assured the people in the state that the Borno Police Command is committed to ensuring public safety and restoring peace and security in the state. He urged the residents to report suspicious activities to police.
I wish to use this medium to call on the good people of Borno State to report any suspicious activities within their domain to the police via our emergency contact.
From Maiduguri, Atiku Galadima, PMB News.
Thank you, Atiku, for that report. And now to some cheering news. The 2024 airlift of Nigerian Hajj pilgrims has commenced towards the arrival of Flynas aircraft at Ahmadu Bello Airport in Benin, Kebbi State on Tuesday. Flynas, a Saudi Arabian airline, is one of the 3 carriers selected to transport Nigerian pilgrims to Saudi Arabia. The inaugural airlift began with the chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, Jalal Arabi, and inspection of the Flynas aircraft. During the inspection, Arabi advised airport management to provide additional boarding stairs for the aircraft's back door to facilitate quicker boarding. Vice President Kashim Shettima graced the inaugural flight ceremony as the special guest of honor. 3 flights are scheduled to depart Nigeria for Saudi Arabia on Wednesday, including Air Peace and Max Air, carrying pilgrims from the FCT and Nasarawa State. In a related development, Vice President Senator Kashim Shettima has said that the federal government spent 90 billion naira to subsidize 2024 Hajj. Shettima stated this while flagging off the 2024 inaugural flight of pilgrims to Saudi Arabia at Ahmadu Bello International Airport, Benin, Kebbi. The Vice President, who narrated the importance of Hajj in the lifespan of Muslims, noted that the federal government, under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, took the bulk of the challenges before they could arrive at this year's Hajj fairs. He told pilgrims that with their collective prayers for their leaders, the country could be a better place because of the sacred nature of the Holy Land, Mecca and Medina, where they would be offering their prayers. In his remarks, the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, his vice president, the Kebbi State government, and NACON for making the inaugural flight possible. The Sultan, while charging Nigeria pilgrims to be disciplined, noted that for many years, pilgrims from Nigeria have been known for discipline because they usually have good leaders guiding them. Well, in his remarks, the Kebbi State Governor, Dr. Nasir Idris, who was elected for the inaugural flight held in Kebbi, disclosed that his administration would work harder to resolve challenges faced by the Pilgrims Agency in the state. From Nigeria now, let's head on to the foreign scene where Robert Fico, Slovakia's prime minister, has been taken to hospital in a life-threatening condition after being shot multiple times, according to his official social media account. Local media say the 59-year-old leader was hit in the abdomen outside a house of culture in the town of Hanover. Meanwhile, world leaders have condemned the attack. Russian President Vladimir Putin has called the shooting of Fico a monstrous crime, stressing that there can be no justification for the monstrous crime. President Putin described Robert Fico as a courageous and strong-minded man, hoping that these qualities will help him to survive this difficult situation. Putin also wished Fico a speedy and full recovery. Also, U.S. President Joe Biden condemned the attack, which he described as a horrific act of violence against Fico. Biden and his wife, Jill, prayed for swift recovery while assuring that the U.S. Embassy was ready to assist the government of Slovakia. Still on the foreign scene, many casualties are feared after a report of an Israeli attack on an internet access point in central Gaza City. Fierce gun battles raged in northern Gaza's Jabalia and southern Rafah as Israeli military incursions intensify against Palestinian armed groups. Hamas and Israel's army both claimed significant enemy casualties. At least 82 Palestinians have been killed in the past 24 hours, the highest death toll in a single day in many weeks during relentless Israeli air attacks. More than 450,000 Palestinians have fled Rafah City, with another 100,000 evacuating the north as Israel's military launches new attacks. At least 35,233 people have so far been killed and 79,141 wounded in Israeli attacks on Gaza since October 7th. The revised death toll in Israel from Hamas's October 7th attack stands at 1,139, with dozens of people still held captive. Now let's talk sports, as Africa's top-ranked table tennis star Aruna Quadri last Tuesday evening defeated Mohamed El Baali of Egypt 4 straight sets to win the 2024 ITTIF Africa Cup at the BK Arena in Kigali, Rwanda. After 3 consecutive losses at the finals, the Nigerian got the crown back for the first time since 2017. Well, in the meantime, the Algerian Football Federation, FAF, which has been a member of CAF since October 1962, is now contemplating leaving the governing body. Multiple reports emanating from Algeria is that FAF is thinking of joining the Asian Football Confederation, AFC. Algerians believe that FAF has been a victim in CAF's major decisions in the continent's football. Rilwan Musa Gau tells us more.
They also believe CAF are always biased towards them. Many football fans feel they are taking this decision because CAF awarded Moroccan side RS Berkane a 6-0 aggregate win over USM Arjar in the semi-finals of the CAF Confederation Cup. The Algerian Football Federation has joined CAF for 61 years and has won the prestigious AFCON twice. Meanwhile, Nigerian table tennis star Quadri Aruna reclaimed the 2024 ITTF African Cup title after beating Egypt's Mohamed El Baali 4-0 in an 11-5, 11-6, 12-10, 12-10, 11-3 game in the finals at the BK Arena in Kigali, Rwanda. Top seed Aruna Quadri is still fresh from his exploit at the WTT Saudi Smash, was again brilliant with a commanding winner in the final. The Nigerian emerged as the new African Cup champion after losing the title to Egypt's Omar Asara in 2017. Mashrab becomes the new African female Cup champion after losing the last 2 editions in the final. The Egyptian described the victory as a crucial one, particularly after coming back from injury. The Nigerian Super Eagles head coach Finidi George faced a major injury crisis ahead of his 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against the Bafana of South Africa and the Squareroos of Benin Republic. A number of teams' regular stars are currently injured and could miss both games. Meanwhile, Napoli forward Victor Osimhen is currently nursing a muscle injury as Osimhen underwent recovery work at the Pentano Peace Konami Training Center on Monday. Meanwhile, Moses Simon, Seydou Sanusi and Tyro Ubey have already been ruled out of the qualifying doubles. Vice Captain William Trust Ekong recently returned to training after undergoing surgery at the end of the 2023 African Cup of Nations with a hope that he would start in either of the games. Now shift gears to Europe, where Aston Villa had qualified for the UEFA Champions League for the first time after top 4 rivals Tottenham Hotspur lost to Manchester City on Tuesday night. The Tottenham Hotspur had been the only team who could have overtaken Aston Villa into 4th before Tuesday night football, but are now 5 points behind Unai Emery's side with 1 game remaining. Villa have not reached UEFA's Premier Club competition since they rebranded from the European Cup to the Champions League in 1991-1992 season. The last played in the European Cup 41 years ago in 1982-1983 season, having won the competition the season before that season. The inaugural Women's Club World Cup will take place in January and February of 2026. FIFA football governing body has confirmed. The 16-team tournament will be held every 4 years and fall during the domestic season of European leagues between the Women's Champions League group stages and the knockout rounds. The USA's National Women's Soccer League season usually begins in March. FIFA announced its intention to create a global women's club competition in December 2022, and the FIFA Congress confirmed the plans on Wednesday in Bangkok. And that's all on the sport news this evening. Over to you, Omo FP's Osemere, for the full bulletin.
Many thanks, Rilwan Musa Gaou, for the sports update. And now, weather report. Right. This brings us to the end of the news tonight. But just before I go, a recap of the news. You heard that the organized labor has rejected the federal government's minimum wage offer. The Rivers State political crisis has taken a new turn. And on the foreign scene, the Slovakian Prime Minister Roberto Fico shot and wounded. In sports, the Algerian Football Federation FAF is contemplating dubbing Confederation of African Football. Right from all of us here, it's bye for now.